So today I want to talk a little bit about botnets and DDoS and how this actually happens. It's not something that's very complex or difficult to understand. Yeah, so basically I have a diagram over here of a hacker that's connected to something called a C2 server, and we have a bunch of infected or compromised nodes, which means that these can be like Windows or Linux or even Unix kind of machines that have a malicious software that's installed, and this malicious software is basically a bot. It's making a callback. So the bots actually make a callback to the C2 server, and the hacker connects back to the C2 server and controls it. Okay, so there's like three different components in play here. There's a C2 server, there's the bot software itself, there's like the endpoint, and there's a hacker that's using something like a console, a client console, to access and control the C2 server. In more modern botnets, what they do is they actually have like a very nice web-based web UI, web graphical interface for them to connect to and command the bots to launch attacks against targets. Yeah, they can even launch attacks against like multiple targets at the same time. So it's now these botnets have gotten to a point that they are very advanced, very complex. The botnet I have over here is just a simple one that's not really meant for it's not really meant for use actually. It's just more for like study, educational purposes. Okay, so I'm going to run the C2 server first, just to show you guys how it looks like. Okay, this is called the Krypton C2 server, and how we access this server is using it's basically using a PuTTY. So I'm going to load PuTTY, and this is my access port to the C2 server. And there's some kind of like a captcha security on this. This is to prevent brute force kind of attacks against against the interface, the login of the C2 server. Okay, so yeah, and then I'm going to log in as myself. Yep, and this is basically how it looks like. Okay, so this wasn't written by me. This is a Krypton C2 botnet, which wasn't created by me. I found this on GitHub. It was created by some hacker that calls himself Sequera. Okay, I believe this guy could be some kind of a security researcher that's doing this for his yeah, probably doing for his final year project, and things like that. So yeah, but it's pretty cool. Okay, it's a simple botnet to help people to understand how it works. So if you just do like help, you can see a whole bunch of stuff down here. Um, Obviously, if I do like bots right now, you'll see there's 0 bots that's connected to it. Now that's because in real life, the bots need to be installed onto either Windows or Linux kind of machine, so even could be Unix machine as well. Okay, so over here, I don't have the bots installed, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run them one at a time. Okay, so I'm just going to fire off the bots. Okay, bot 1, bot 2, bot 3, oops, sorry, and bot 4. Okay, and I'm just going to go and check in with my console, and okay, let's check it again. Okay, great. Now I have 4 bots which are connected. Okay, and let's just go over to the tiny web server and take a look. I have the task manager is running. The two things that we want to take note of, the goal of today's lab is not to kill the website. The website actually looks like this. I'm going to attack this IP address, .252. The the objective of today's lab is not to crash or destroy this website, but rather is more to just to show the effects that it has on the web server itself. Such botnets, how do they actually affect the web server? Okay, so kind of like keep an eye on the CPU usage as well as the Ethernet load. And I'm just going to go back to the firewall for a while to show it to you. In firewall, I actually have this external. We have a traffic graph. Okay, we can sort it by the hour. You can see that I have a couple of spikes already done. This was something that I did earlier. Some testing in the morning and yeah, the night before. Okay, so you can see some traffic that's going on. And I'm going to show you how it looks like. All right, so right now I'm going to launch an attack against 252. So what I do is that just do a help. I look at the botnet and I can do a .http. I'm going to use a HTTP storm attack. Okay, So the syntax is .http storm URL 172.16.16.252 port 80, time is 1200, like this. Okay, and let me just switch over to the web server so you can see better. Okay, and just observe the CPU load. Okay, so right now the load is pretty low. You can see that the load is pretty low. It doesn't have much load on this web server at all. But the moment it starts flooding, okay, it almost instantaneously shoots up to 100% CPU usage. Okay, so if this is long enough, and if I do have enough bots, let's say I have right now I only have 4 bots. You can see I only have 4 bots online, right? But in real life, hackers have maybe like 400 bots or 4,000 bots. Really, some hackers are crazy enough to have like 40,000 bots. That's terrifying. They can literally take down like any kind of web server they want. They can overwhelm, they can exhaust the web server, literally very, very quickly. Especially nowadays with layer 7 attacks, they can take it down very, very easily. So for me right now, I only have 4, so it like take me forever to flood, you see, but but you get the idea, right? That's how it works. Okay, so let me just switch over the firewall, show you how it looks like. External, let me refresh it. Sort by the hour. Yeah, you can see that it's already starting to build up. Right, the time now is at 11:46. This was taken at this time, 11:46. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so we can see from here how it consumes like literally 100% of the CPU, and I mean this is just a simple VM. Obviously, in real life, if it's run, if that server is running as a VM with a lot more resources, they assign like eight virtual CPUs to it, with no 64 gig of RAM or 128 gig of RAM and things like that. It would take longer to kind of like exhaust and take out the server, right? Yeah, but yeah, that's basically how it works. Fundamentally, how it works. Okay, so yeah, so like earlier on, I was testing the web server. I was able to actually generate a lot of load on it, just using a simple 4 node botnet. Okay, but fundamentally, this is how it works. For the server, sorry, for the hacker's end, he doesn't feel any kind of lag because he's connected to the C2 server. Okay, so even if some of the bots, while in the process of flooding, if they go offline, it's fine for the hacker. The hacker doesn't feel anything. He can still issue commands like as normal, right? He can still issue commands and still change targets and flood multiple targets and things like that. So yeah, that's basically how a C2 botnet works. And I hope that this was informative for you. If you want, go ahead and download and maybe drop a thank you to this guy called Sequera for his code. I do not know who he is, but he's pretty cool to create something like this. Um, yeah, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.